I know.
All right, but so it's definitely been incredible. Let's talk about that first game though. UConn Miami should be an incredible game.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, when you got it's not just the fact that they have the experience of a school of going to a Final Four, but at this point, UConn has been the tournament's favorite. Not just because of who's left, but at this point, they've honestly dominated throughout the whole run. So they're gonna go up against Miami, who obviously they got to the Elite Eight last year. Not a squad of scrubs, so they definitely gonna put up a good fight, and it's gonna be a battle of two schools that are gonna have a good options on 3 point range, and pretty much who's gonna get hot and who's not. So this is gonna be the game for me to watch.
Mm.
I definitely think that both team have pretty good pieces. Like I said, you got UConn, their star player is Sonago. He's pretty much a great forward that's dominant on both sides of the ball. Good
Great
rebounder too.
rebounder,
I
I
think
would
he's
say.
getting
Like
7.5.
he's
Yeah, yeah, it
balling
was the
out.
7.5
Yeah.
tournament.
Like
Yeah,
when he
yeah.
played it, when they played against Gonzaga and Timmy, he was like tearing him up over there.
Yes, no, honestly, and that's what thing. That's what I said. It's not just because of who they had left. When it comes to what they did to get here, UConn has been absolutely dominant on both sides of the ball, and their stars have been playing. So they definitely deserve all the praise. Guard Jordan Hawkins been going off in this tournament, damn near 50% from three, pretty much averaging 16 points in the last 4 games. And like I said, between them two, they got a great starting five to kind of round them out. And it's a team that share the basketball well, so they always find themselves able to get open opportunities from the three. So we're definitely going to see him go up against another team that know how to shoot
Yeah.
well. Zay Wong and Jordan Miller are both people who know how to get their shots and get to the basket. So I definitely want to see how that guard play out. But for this tournament right now in these last 2 games, 3 games because it's going to be a championship game. But these last few games is really about matchups and just names going against names. Um, like you said, Sanago is a very good rebounder, so we're definitely gonna have to see how him and his big man match up
Yep.
against Omir, who's a walking double double and has been dominating on the glass too in this tournament as well. So I'm definitely excited to see how all those big men match up and how the shooting match up as well. But what about you? How do you what makes you excited about this game before we even get about who you got?
See, I think this is gonna be an exciting game. I think I'll be honest. I think this is gonna be more exciting than whoever gets to the championship game. And most
Right.
sometimes it is like that. Like the final four games are so exciting that once you get to the championship game, that team is just so hyped that they just go off and win it. But both of these teams are great scoring teams. Miami is 18-2 when they score 79 points or more. And the only losses that they had, those two losses, was one of them in overtime to NC State, and the other was on a last second shot. So when they score 72, they or 79, they barely lose. Now the problem with that is the Huskies, UConn is the only other team in the tournament that's scoring higher than Miami. So now this is
Ridiculous.
literally going to be a game of shooters. It's going to be a crazy high scoring game. I'm expecting both of them to score over 160, so at least 80 points each. I think that it's going to come down to a lot of fouls and free throws, though. The Hurricanes are amazing from the line, and UConn, they do get hammered inside with like lots of fouls. Whenever you have like two big guys, and Miami does have two forwards, they can go inside. I'm worried if Sanago's going to get hit with a few early fouls. That's going to be a big question because UConn does have an issue with giving off a lot of fouls. I mean, even you saw in that Gonzaga game, they had two guys with 4 fouls going into like the last like 2 minutes of the game. Like, luckily nobody fouled out, but they were still like close to fouling out. So that's one thing you're definitely gonna have to look at. I mean, the size and the depth is definitely to UConn. They have a lot more bench scoring than Miami has. Miami mostly relies on their 5 guys, their 5 core guys to score. They're starting five. I just think that this is going to be a very exciting game. And one thing we got to say though, like you got to give a lot of credit to the coach Hurley for UConn. I mean, this is his first year, and of course he comes from
Mhm.
a very famous basketball family. Of course, his brother Bobby Hurley, which I met in Rochester when he came through and did a basketball camp. I got a signed card. Bobby Hurley. So I'm definitely rooting for his brother a little bit, but I think that it's definitely going to be an exciting game. But who you got for this one? Who you got winning it?
So some people think this might be uneven matchup. I definitely, like I said, I'm mostly looking forward to Sanago versus Omir. They have no choice but to put Omir on
Yeah,
Sanago because he's just
exactly.
you need a big body and someone that could stay in front of him. But like I said, the guard play, Tristan Newton going up against Isaiah Wong, trying to see maybe who they put up against Pack and Miller on Miami
Yeah.
side. So I'm definitely excited to see the matchups. Like you said, both great shooting teams. Miami doesn't rely on a three, but they've been very good from behind the arc this tournament. And obviously, the question is who can basically stay out of foul trouble because that is a good point. So while the Hurricanes have been doing amazing as an underdog, they stay an underdog here. I actually do believe this is where their underdog story finished.
Mm,
UConn has been absolutely dominant throughout this tournament. They got five people in the starting five that have been playing absolutely well. Like I said, they pass the ball so well. They shoot 41% from the three. They limit their opponents to under 28%. They're winning rebound battles. They're scraping almost everyone they face, and they're pretty much blowing out everyone in the tournament so
yeah.
far. At this point, I don't see that
Mm,
stopping. And Miami, I don't think has a defense to be the one who stops them.
mm. So what's your score for the game?
I got UConn winning 84-78. It's
Wow.
funny that you said the 160 because I definitely do think it's going to be a high
Yeah,
scoring game. A lot more higher scoring than the next game we're
that's for sure.
covering for
That's
sure.
for sure. But
But yeah, I got UConn winning by 6 points.
yeah, I mean, interesting. I do agree that UConn is definitely the better 3 point shooting team, but Miami is really good at defending the three. Also, I don't think that Miami's going to need to rely on their three more because they love going inside. They love, taking a lot of layups, passing the ball inside to their post, and just going from there and try to get those free throws after they try to get layups. I do think that there is going to be foul trouble for UConn, but the question for me is going to be the bench scoring of Miami and the 3 point shooting of UConn. If UConn can score at least 30% from three, and I'm talking about the whole team, if they can go somewhere like, you know, 6 for 18, let's say, 8 for 22, 8 for 24, something like that. If they could score 30%, then I think they have a great chance. But if Miami now, if they can hold that defense, because they're one of the best 3 point defending teams, especially in the tournament,
Oh yeah.
so they could definitely slow them down. But I don't think they're going to stop them. I think that 3 pointers just win out in this tournament. And when you got a hot team like UConn, like you said, they pretty much ran through this whole tournament. They beat everyone with an average score of 23 points per game, which is insane. The last like 3 games. So that is incredible. And I think that they're just going to keep that going. And I got UConn winning as well. I don't think Miami's going to stop them or slow them down. But I actually got this game. I actually also have it a 6 point game, but my score is 85-79.
Okay, off by 1 point. Um, but yeah, I mean at this point, like it's March Madness, so
Anything can
anyone can
happen.
win the game, any team can step up. But like, UConn's not playing, man.
No, they're being coached good, and like you
Yes.
said, the 3 pointers, like it doesn't seem like they're having an off game. The one thing about like the tournament, NCAA tournament, if you can get hot at the right moment, then you can like literally be one of the best teams in the nation. And you see that they got hot pretty much at the Big East tournament, and now, going into the tournament right here, they got really hot and they're just beating everybody crazy amount. I don't think it's gonna be like that this game because I do think it's gonna be a little bit more fouling. So it's going to be a little bit closer, especially in the second half, because I do see both of these teams going in runs. Like one team is going to get a 15 points up. Another team's going to go like 11 points. There's going to be a lot of runs in this game because they can score like that. But at the end of the day, I got UConn.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's what I said in our intro episode into the tournament. Like, the tournament is a games of runs,
Mm-hmm.
and teams that go the longest or the farthest in the tournament are teams that have defenses that can withstand them runs because everyone's gonna go on a spurt where they're gonna score a
Mm,
lot, and everyone's face a drought where they can't get the ball in the basket. It's about the defense that plays. And right now, I'll be honest, no one has shown that they can make UConn hit them
That's a
droughts.
good point. That's a good point.
Um,
And also
and that's
Miami,
really what it's coming down to.
has a bad defense. A
Definitely have
bad defense.
droughts.
They're like lower than 100th place in defense right now, which is bad. For a top team like this to be like lower than 100th, that's bad. Like they have a bad defense. But they do defend the 3 well. I will say that. Yeah.
No, and they're definitely gonna need it. So honestly, this is gonna be a great game, a good game. But at the end of the day, most people have UConn winning
Yeah.
the game. But if we learn anything from this tournament, is we can't just depend on the better team to win. At the end of